I just launched a new task app for all your Apple devices, and I think it's pretty good. It's called Can Do, and it's available for iPhone, iPad, Mac, and even Apple Vision Pro. And I made it to be the best Kanban app across your Apple devices that syncs with iCloud and is lightning fast. I'll explain why I built it and why reminders just wasn't enough for me, how I built it, yes, it is a vibe-coded app, and I'll explain all the features I added just for me, but you might find useful too. And yes, there are robust shortcuts actions for Can Do. And I'll tell you right up front, there's no subscription. I repeat, no subscription. It's just a one-time purchase for $3 and you get it everywhere. I'll show you what the Mac app looks like in a moment, but let's start here on iPhone. What is Can Do? Well, it is a task or project management app that's really focused on Kanban boards. Pretty sure it's Kanban, maybe it's Kanban, so say it however you'd like. But when you go to the main navigation, you have an inbox, today, upcoming, and flags, so you can separate your tasks, and then you can create spaces with projects underneath, and then in each project, you can have your list of tasks. You can view it as a Kanban board. Lots of features here we'll get to in a moment, and you can switch to list view if you want, and switch back at the tap of a button. Now it is all built natively using Swift, and that helps it be really fast, whether you're swiping across columns or even going up and down tasks. And one of the big reasons I wanted to build my own versus some of the alternatives is I wanted to be able to add rich markdown, text, attachments, and more to every individual task. So when you tap one, it actually expands the note screen. And here you can just type in markdown. I'll just do a little bold there. You can also go in and add all the different styles manually. If you want to do bold, italic, you can do a task checklist here. You can also add a subtitle and even a header image that will appear here on the main column view. You can reorder the columns, adjust the icons and colors for different projects and spaces, and have lots of settings for behaviors, like if you want to see the actual counts for your tasks in the library, if you prefer the default list view versus the Kanban, if you want tasks that are completed to stay on the board or move to the archive, you can turn off these smart lists, and yes, there is also reminders import. I'll talk about the limitations of that in a moment. So why did I feel the need to build another task app? Well, to help explain, let me show you what I was doing to manage my video project specifically. I actually really like Apple's Reminders app. It's really fast. It actually has a column view built in, and I've been using this to manage my video projects for the last several years. And all the tasks and reminders, it does allow you to add things like one URL. You can add notes, although it's not rich text notes and it's basically confined to this little notes area. You can really attach files to a reminder task, but you can add an image, but only one image. And as you can see, if you have a long note, well, it just expands the reminders here, and that doesn't look great. So my typical process would be I would have a note in Bear for every video that I did. I would put the images and attachments, the sponsor reads, all of that in the Bear note, and then when it was time to make a video, I would have reminders up with my tasks and videos to make, and the Bear note up with all the information. And so bottom line, I just wanted one place where I could do both. A beautiful column view for my tasks and managing my videos, and also be able to put a bunch of rich text, attach documents, PDFs, and images that have to do with the task, and just have everything in one place when I'm ready to make a video. And that's exactly what Can Do allows me to do. So I have all my videos here, just like they were in my reminders, but I can open a task and then add that markdown text, and I made it so I can attach PDFs, documents, and images directly in the note attached to every task. So here's a PDF document. Let's say I need to refer to that when I'm making the video. Well, I can just drag it here in the note, and the PDF is saved right where I need it. It syncs to all my devices over iCloud, even Apple Vision Pro. And then when I'm ready to refer to it, I can just double click and it will open in preview or in quick look on your iOS device. And then I can add as much text as I would like to this note, bullet points, links, all of that. And I can even open the details for a task, change that cover image, add a subtitle, flag it priority, set a due date, and you can get notifications if you would like. Of course, I can move tasks to a different space and column. You can create new tags, use a current tag, so you can see your tasks across all your spaces here in one place. And I also wanted the ability to add multiple links. Maybe it's links to products I'm talking about, different web pages I need to refer to. So you can add multiple links to every task, like I'll add my YouTube channel, I'll add my home page, and all of that information is now built into the task. And as you add different information, you'll see here on the little Can Do app launch, it'll say I have 2 links attached to it, I do have a rich text note, little tag is there, and something I did in my reminders is if a video was sponsored, I would actually put that sponsor right here in the subtitle. This video is not really sponsored, it's just me here. And the little subtitle is actually viewable in the column view. And that was all the at-a-glance information I wanted when I was looking at my Kanban board. And then I would even do little things in reminders to kind of hack it where I wanted dividers amongst the different items. So I would create a reminder that was just hyphens because I just wanted that divider. Well, I was able to add that directly into my app. So you can add a divider here. You can drag it up and down, place the divider, do whatever you would like. You can also right click and remove it. And like any good Kanban app, you can take a task and drag it to another column. and take it, drag it back, and that dragging mechanism works across all the platforms. And at this point, let me just take a moment and say kudos to all the actual real developers out there, because man, building an app is hard. Even little things like I wanted the behavior to, when I was on my Mac with my Magic Mouse, to swipe left to right to dismiss that note. Well, I had to work with Claude and figure out how to do that, or a 2-finger swipe on the trackpad, figuring out on Vision OS plus iPad plus iPhone. So to all the developers out there who know the code, know what they're doing, you guys are incredible. Kudos. I don't know how you do it. Also, you can do little things like Command plus to make everything bigger or minus to zoom out. You can also adjust the typography size in the settings for the app. If you want to go with a monochrome, all one color look across the app for your tags, spaces, and projects, you can do that, or go back to multicolor. Lots of options there. Now, I already have a bunch of feature requests, and I'll get to that in a moment too, but let me show you the shortcuts action. Another thing I wasn't crazy about when it came to reminders is if you use the new reminder action, you can have the reminder title, you can choose a list here, you can have the alert, but you couldn't specify a column. So to put a reminder in a specific column, I had to go to the app and actually create it there or drag it to the column I wanted. So what I wanted to do was create a shortcuts action that allows you to do all the things. So when you add this action in a shortcut, you can choose the project and you can choose a column within that project. You can even add tags like this to the incoming task. You can add a due date priority flagged. You can choose an image and the URL. Let me add a new task. It's going to ask what the title is every time I run it. I'll tap done. And now it should have added a new task called test in the shorts column. Let's go back. We'll go to videos, over to shorts. And sure enough, there's our test task. I can tap and hold and delete it. Also lots of options there in the contextual menu when you tap and hold on it. So with that, you can use a repeat action, create templates with different columns among your projects, and there are several other actions. So that was the add task action. You can also choose to complete a task or directly open a project and open a task. So we can say open project. Let's go to my videos project. And if I run this shortcut, it'll open that directly in Can Do. If instead I wanted to go over to my reports project, I can run this and it'll go over to that view. You can also choose to complete a task. You can have it ask each time. And if you expand this action, and now if I run it, it'll show me all the recent tasks that I've added, and I can select one to mark it as complete. And like I mentioned, everything syncs over iCloud, so you can grab your iPad, manage all your boards and tasks, your Apple Vision Pro, iPhone, or Mac. Now, a couple known issues and feature requests I already have. If you do the reminders import, I asked Claude Fable to build this import feature, and it will import from your list, give it access to your reminders. You can choose one of your current reminders lists and then import those to a current project or even create a new project from that reminders list. But apparently that connection to Apple Reminders doesn't see images or URLs that might be attached to those reminders. So it's not going to pull over those URLs and images, unfortunately. Now you can do what I did, and I used Claude Computer Control to just have it do everything in Can Do and mimic my reminders board. I understand the aversion to using entire computer control, but that does work if you want it. And some feature requests I already know about. My co-host David Sparks on Mac Power Users wants to have a specific link to every task. Going to work on that for version 1.1, and if you want to hear really in-depth about my experience developing Can Do, my thoughts behind it, and the current landscape of task apps, me and David Sparks talk about it in depth on the Mac Power Users episode coming this Sunday, August 9th. You can follow Mac Power Users wherever you get your podcasts. You can scan this QR code, follow us there, and that episode again coming out this Sunday, August 9th. I'm going to be talking about my entire development process of Can Do in depth. There's some features that I want, like adding tags to that contextual menu so I can right-click a task and just tag it right here. Probably will add some other commands here in this menu. Select multiple items in the column to tag them all at once or move or complete them all at once. I want to make sure if you delete a task that you can undo and bring it back immediately. And a couple visual things in Apple Vision Pro that I need to fix. Now I'll mention briefly how I built it. I don't know how to code. I did web development years ago, but I don't know Swift or anything for app development. So I opened Xcode, created a new project, immediately connected the Claude agent. Here I have it connected to my Anthropic account. I do have a $100 Claude Max plan, and I just talked to the Claude agent for all the things. I would give it instructions here in Xcode. I would build the app, run it on my Mac, send it to my iPhone, make changes, and then I figured out how to archive and build it to the App Store. So everything was the Claude agent directly in Xcode using Opus until I got to a few bugs that it just couldn't solve. namely dragging a task into the open space of a column. For instance, if I wanted to drag this anchor task over here to the soon column, before you had to go right underneath one of these tasks so the blue line would appear, but I wanted it so you could drop that task anywhere in the empty space below the task. That is how it functions if you download right now. But Opus couldn't figure that out as the Claude agent in Xcode. And so my friend Jason A10, who also vibe coded a great app called Contextly, I'll put a link to that app below as well. He kept talking about how great Claude Code was, especially on the Fable model for building apps. I was a little bit unsure how to do that, but all you have to do is point Claude Code to the folder where your app lives, the Xcode project, and then I would just talk to Claude Code. And you can see here, this was my conversation with Claude Code. I left it running on Fable 5, burned a bunch of tokens, probably had to pay about $100 over the course of a week to make all the changes I wanted in the time I wanted. But man, Fable 5 was really good, helped me get this app at a place where I felt good about putting it in the App Store out for the world to see. And a little bit of a spoiler, I'm already working on a second app. If you're in my Shortcuts community, I have a test flight beta available for anyone who is a paying member. And during this iOS 27 beta season, I've been doing half off my community membership, which you get a ton of stuff. Like you can watch my weekly live streams just for members, and I shared my test flights for both of these apps there first. I share new shortcuts every week, and for members of my community, I actually gave 100 promo codes. So if you're a member of my Shortcuts community, you can download my apps for free too. You can watch all my live streams on demand, which if you want to get the test flight for my second app that I'm launching, you can watch this stream recording right here from August 5th, and the link to that test flight's right there. But you can also join for free. Almost 5,000 people are in the community, and a bunch are supporting members. Thank you to everyone who support me there. That helps me be an independent creator and gives me the time to make these cool apps and stuff. But if you scan this QR code, you can get 50% off membership right now, probably through the iOS 27 launch, and I'm running deals all the time. But jump on that, become a member. You can get my Shortcuts of the Week, access to my Shortcuts database, which is also now in Airtable, live streams, and a ton more. But for my second app, I just went straight to Claude Code. I created the project in Xcode, pointed Claude Code at the folder, started talking to Fable, and that app came together even faster, like a day or two. The test flight is out there right now. It should be in the store maybe in the next couple weeks. But overall, it's just super fun to be able to make an app that's custom purpose for how you work, how your brain functions, and you never know, other people might work that way too and like using your app. So you can get Can-Do in the App Store right now for all your Apple devices. It is $3. Oh, give me one second. $3, no subscription. And I will be adding features to it. I don't know for how long. I know collaboration was already requested, and we'll see what we can do with that. That is way beyond my skills, but we'll see if Fable can do it. If not, skill issue. The link to the app is also down in the description, and get subscribed because that second app is going to be coming, and I think you're really going to like it. It also has a ton of shortcuts actions, control center actions, and a bunch more. It's going to be really fun. So get subscribed, hit that like button. If you're interested in iOS 27 and all the features coming there, I'll link one of my videos on that right up here. And there's a bunch of new shortcuts actions in iOS 27. I've been covering them here on the channel all summer. You can check out my shortcuts video right up here. Thanks so much for watching and downloading and supporting, and I'll catch you next time.